Successful service learning partnerships depend on strong community partnerships. To that end, this video will introduce you to our community partners at the York Road Partnership and provide some background on what they do and why they want to work with our class.
For many years, I lived in a neighborhood not too far from here, but heard about and got involved with the York Road Partnership. This is an area of Baltimore City that originally, and I mean like 300 years ago, was basically a rural area. Its location on York Road made it have some prominence during the pre-industrial age. And York Road was used for farmers bringing their produce via wagons along York Road down to Baltimore Harbor. After the Second World War, there was a huge increase in the population of Baltimore. People were coming up looking for jobs, and they obviously needed places to live. So there was a lot of development that occurred just after it in the 1950s. And it was about that time that this area changed rapidly from forest, open pasture land and farms to what you see today, which are a lot of what we could call townhouses that were built by single developers throughout the area. Now, interspersed here are some old sort of pre-Victorian houses, but by and large most of the houses are these so-called row houses. They are constrained by the geography of the land here, which is rather hilly, but they also, at that time, were constructed by the developers in a way that didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the benefits of having trees in a neighborhood. They were concerned simply with building the houses so they could help address the growing population. The result of that is that you find throughout these neighborhoods, in a sense, two kinds of frontage of the houses. Where we're standing now, the city line ends at the end of the properties, and there is concrete, curb, and street in that order. If you see just a little further down the block, there is a strip of grass between the sidewalk and the curb. And if there is that strip of grass, there is then the potential of having a tree planted there. Back in the 50s and 60s, people were not that aware of environmental issues and the importance of having greenery, particularly how it benefits the neighborhood economically as well as health-wise. So you see around here a lot of streets that don't have the ability to have trees planted in front, and often have even problems with the private land. There is, for example, here a large slope between the privately owned land and the sidewalk, the city right away, where it would be difficult to have a tree planted. And why I'm going into this is to simply make the point that throughout this neighborhood, you find it's almost a tree desert. It doesn't have the benefit of the trees. It has high rates of asthma among the kids. So one of the things that the York Road Partnership wanted to do, and has attempted to do it through what's called its Public Safety and Greening Committee, where it can get trees added both in small little urban forests as well as a park that is just south of here, and also most recently along the streets where it's feasible to plant trees. About 5 years ago, Baltimore made a commitment that it wanted to increase the tree canopy in the city. Tree canopy was about 15%, and the goal they've set for themselves is 60%. So this provided a great opportunity for our Public Safety and Greening Committee to step in and encourage planting trees in this area by the city. As you can see, the city has started planting here. This is the start of the project, but this year we're looking for quite a large expansion, not only in this neighborhood, but also 4 neighborhoods between here and Loyola. Throughout the years that the York Road Partnership has been working, a big partner has been Loyola College. There have been a number of projects that have helped make the corridor and the neighborhoods much, much better. This is Deweese Park, which has hosted a number of student-led projects. Behind me is the Deweese Rec Center, and the students did the painting of the rec center. In terms of wanting to increase greenery in general, we have developed an orchard that is just down the hill from where you can see. There's just not enough volunteer support in these neighborhoods for a couple of reasons. One is that it's neighborhoods that have a relatively high elderly population, and the people who live here just don't have the strength and ability to come out and take care of projects and trees like it should be. And besides there being a large elderly population, there also is a relatively large number of single mom families who just don't have the time and the energy when they're raising kids and juggling that with a job and such to spend a lot of time working on community projects. And that's where the help of students from Loyola has been absolutely invaluable. When only a few people have the time and ability to work on projects like that, having the support by Loyola is tremendous.